Hello everybody, you fabulous Duranis! Welcome to another Duranie distraction! Oh my gosh, this is a special edition and you'll find out why. This is kind of an indication right here. I'm really feeling just lots of emotion, and I'll just start out with my little affirmation and you'll figure out what this is all about. Okay, so welcome, pull up a chair, find your little spot, and just let all your concerns roll off. You're about to get distracted, and you need to be centered. Breathe, and just be at one with yourself, okay? Here we go. Repeat after me. I am good enough, I am smart enough, and gosh darn it, we should all be in Vegas! Oh my gosh, we should totally all be in Vegas today, right? Yesterday and today, I am just feeling it for everyone who had tickets and wanted to see the band, and it just represents the huge widespread delays and disappointments this whole year is just dishing out in shovelfuls for all of us. So in that spirit, this is kind of like a Vegas theme, you know, I'm a little blinged out. This shirt, actually, I was wearing when I first met the band. Oh my gosh, the one thing that's missing is the black pleather pants, okay? They were shiny pleather pants, and I actually had to, have baby powder on my legs, and then I put on nylons, and then the pants, because I was warned, when I bought them, you know, this stuff is going to get hot, okay? Not in a complimentary way. So I was really dolled up. I was looking like I belonged. I was all Vegased out, and that's how I met Nick Rhodes. That was like crazy. I mean, wow. So yeah, a little bit of Vegas here, and right back here we have a poster that I brought when I was at the Chelsea, meeting so many fans, and that memory has just been with me. Like, it's been with me for several days as we come up to the Vegas dates. I remember being there, the energy was crazy, all these fans were there, people I had only met through Facebook. That's the stuff that means probably the most to me, and I totally believe that so many of you, share that. Seeing people you're reuniting with, people you have never met before. Everybody congregates in these spots, and the Cosmopolitan is just the perfect ground for that. And I miss that so much. Baranduin, Jen, Lisa, Jennifer. I could just rattle off all the incredible people that I met for the first time or that reunited. There were people that came for the first time. Teresa Icum, her first trip to the U.S., and it was for that show in Vegas. Oh my God, it was so special. So, the long and short of it is, I'm really feeling it for all you guys, and this is going to try to be a little bit of a love letter to all of you as we try to comfort ourselves. I remember how everybody looked on the first night of the band's show in Vegas. Everybody was blinged out. Everybody looked amazing. I'd never seen so much glamour and Duranie glamour and gorgeousness in one spot. It was beautiful, and I wanted to be a part of it. I wasn't even sure I wanted to see the band, and to some extent, I just wanted to be around the fans. It was really, really special. So I'm feeling it for you guys. So I brought this poster back to Vegas and had a whole bunch of fans sign it. And it was really, really crazy special. It was just like levitating. I was like, oh my God, everybody was just like pouring their heart out and just feeling it together. It's just amazing. And at the Chandelier Bar, remember the Chandelier Bar and the Egg Slut, right? A restaurant called the Egg Slut. That was some good food. Anyway, huge misses for Vegas, and all the memories that we made. And there will be another time. I know it. They're going to come back. We just have to get through this melancholy we're feeling right now. So anyway, and there's a little casino chip right here. Christine helpfully placed this on my lap, and I was like, oh, casino chip. We should have much more of these. Casino chip, confetti, memories. That's what we're missing right now. So in order to get us distracted, let's start the first book. And we're going to go starting out in 1983. Loving you guys. This is so cool. Welcome back. Okay, so we're starting out with a radio station release. This is listing all the Friday morning quarterback album report. So all the statistics about what albums are coming out. And there's a little comment here. Duran Duran, Union of the Snake from Capitol Records. He says, the DJ, or whoever put this together, a programming guide. He says, not my favorite Duran Duran ditty on day one, but at the rate it's moving up after 4 or 5 more. What the hell? Talent is why they titillate the world, and with their panache and positioning, it's you'd best learn to like by hearing it repeatedly on your radio station. So I think Duran Duran was making fans in everybody. That was really cool. And then, of course, you have a promotional ad for Union of the Snake. Very, very cool. And, in this shot, you can actually see the snake on his hand. You can't see that in most shots, but if you look closely, you can see the snake tattoo, or temporary tattoo, on the back of his hand. And on the other side, this is a really, really fun article. Duran Duran, Band of Angels, it says, let there be light as Brits peak at top. And it's written by a journalist who actually is a fan, which is really, really fun. I'll just read you a little bit. She describes another fan before mentioning herself. She says, Christine is 15 and lives on Long Island with her mom, dad, and 2 older sisters. She doesn't like school too much. She likes MTV and new wave music a lot. And like many other teenage girls these days, is totally wild over that Birmingham, England band that calls itself Duran Duran. Why Duran Duran? Quote from Christine. They have better sounds than anyone. Their songs mean more. They like to write love songs, which is nice. And they're much better looking than any other band. Christine writes to about 30 fan pen pals and has spent over $250 on Duran Duran memorabilia. And then Diane, who is the author of this, she's 26, and she's a staffer on a teen mag by day, a freelance writer at night, and these days she feels like a Duran Duran writing machine. Her teen readers think Simon, John, Nick, Roger, and Andy are #1, and it just goes on. And she kind of expresses her own joy for the band. It's really, really fun. So that's really fun. Okay. There was a lot of love coming from the editors of a lot of those teen magazines, and you could just feel it. They were connecting with the fans, and like, oh, this is what Duran's doing this week, and that was really. It's always fun when the love comes through, right? Kayla Simon is here. Carol St. Martin, welcome, you guys. We should all be in Vegas, right? Okay, this is kind of fun. This is a Philippines article from a magazine called Mod, and this is dated. September 14th, 1984. So we're moving along in the ragged years. And this article is about the making of Duran Duran's Reflex video. So cool, my favorite. Oh my God, nothing encapsulates the whole feeling, the energy of a Duran Duran concert more than that video. Oh, it's amazing. Hey Craig, hey, good to see you. Yes, Craig, we should be in Vegas. That's going to probably be a recurring theme, so. But yeah, there's some really cool reflections that John has on, I think, was it John? Yes. That reflecting on the Reflex video. And they did it in Toronto in Canada. And there's this one little bit right here. The daytime was basically taken up with filming the close-ups. Like when you see Simon breakdancing, or whatever you call it, across the stage. And like that shot of Simon sweeping across the front of the stage, that was such a complicated shot that it required a special railway line to be built for the camera to travel along. The first 20 rows of seats had to be taken out to do it. That's kind of cool. We did a lot of close-ups of Roger and Nick then, because we're actually on stage, when we're actually on stage playing, it's often difficult for cameramen to get at them. It's difficult for fans to get at them as well. So probably most of the shots of them aren't live, whereas most of the ones of me, Simon, and Andy are live because we're at the front of the stage. That's kind of fun. What was strange was that we were making the video to the new Nile Rodgers remix of the Reflex, but we'd been playing the album version on stage for about 40 shows. So we got a bit confused, especially when it came to that scratch part. everybody went, what do we do now? That's kind of fun memory. It's always fun when you hear the behind the scenes stories. So this is a good shot of that article. And that's from the Philippines. There's Duran Love in the Philippines. Okay. This is a French article. Some great classic shots of the band here, standing with a New York skyline behind them. Just typical, beautiful, summarizing how the band were dominating the U.S., especially New York. And I love that the white and black outfits, right? It just said Duran Duran. I loved what they did, white and black. White, black, and red. That was the color scheme of art school days with Nick and John. Okay. So then there's a UK article here going over some factoids about the band. And top 20 on Duran Duran. And so most of this stuff we know. I mean, we're all professionals, right? But back then, it was just kind of satisfying the lots that were just learning about the band. Some very common facts and some great picks. And then we have a Hebrew article, Israeli article. And so this, is a little bit of a shout out to my sister and her kids. Miss you guys. We're currently reading The Never-Ending Story every morning, which is really, really fun. So this is Duran Duran International right there. Israel and the UK. And of course, the Israeli article opens backwards. This is actually the end of the article. And here's the opening pages right here. Good shots of the band. I'm sorry, this experience kind of pales in comparison to just filing into the doors of the Chelsea, but we're here together, right? So, huge hugs and love to everyone who should be in Vegas right now. Here's the front of the Israeli article. Great pic of John on the cover. And there's a promotional ad for Arcadia. The Arcadia album is here. Who doesn't love a little Arcadian PR, right? Fantastic stuff. The whole color scheme, all the design, the artwork, Tony Viramonte's cover. I mean, everything just hung together in spectacular fashion. Absolutely beautiful. And then we have a fantastic interview with Nick. And yes, I suppose objectivity is not my strong point. Every interview, every picture of Nick is just pretty much awesome. But the hair. Love the hair. Love the hair. Again with the hair, right? Beautiful shot. It's called The Wild Boy Alone. And this is from, I think it's from Spin magazine. Very cool. Duran Duran are not splitting, says Nick Rhodes, who has teamed with Simon Le Bon on a new album, their answer to Power Station. So yeah. It was really, really interesting as I start to go over some of these articles and actually read them, sometimes for the first time, just pulling out little bits for you. So hopefully I've pulled out some good stuff to share with you. Some interesting little bits. Yeah. Talks about Nick and his view on music. So it talks about the album Arcadia. It said, it's so different from anything we have done before, as I think it should have been. All the tracks are very diverse. I am confident that it is good, but I wonder how people will receive it. Yeah, it was a real departure for the band. So over here we have a UK magazine, and it has a big reflection years later on Band-Aid, which is really fun, with quotes from the people who were involved. So we'll get into that. Good atmospheric shot of Nick right there. And it's really cool that you guys are just being so comforting for each other in all this disappointment about not being in Vegas. I'm seeing a lot of that. and it just shows the true beautiful colors that shine out within the fan community. You guys are just awesome. So I'm proud of you. I'm proud to be a part of this. We're gonna get through this. Band Aged. So it talks about the whole Band-Aid effort, has a great big shot of everybody assembled. Michelle Connell is here. John Archbell. Oh my God, hey John. Congratulations on your Duran Duran Rocks. Really looking forward to seeing that develop. Good job. Okay. So, yeah, it starts with Bob Geldof and goes into Ultravox, Midge-Ur, all kinds of quotes. That's a good shot of everybody assembled. And then it goes on, and here's Simon up here. Here we go. Duran Duran is mentioned down here, and Simon has a quote about getting together for the Band-Aid experience. He says, now reflecting on it, "It was a bit like a bunch of kids on their school holidays getting together to do some project or play a game of football. Doing a duet with Sting was an outstanding moment for me. Musically, the record reminded me of Z-Cars." So that kind of goes a little bit over my head. I'm not sure, haven't seen Z-Cars, but a British reference, right? I'm pretty sure. I need to broaden my horizons. Okay, so that's kind of fun, and a good shot of Simon up there smiling. Okay. Then we're going into 87 here. Nice big full page pick. This is from the New Times, June 24th through the 30th, 1987. This is for the show at Compton Terrace with special guests Erasure. Oh, wouldn't that have been a show? I've never seen them with Duran, but I've definitely spoken with fans who have, and they said, "Oh, it was amazing." Okay. Oh, John Archibald says it's like a bedtime story. He just needs his hot cocoa. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, so this is a horizontal article here. Back on track at Six Flags, when Duran Duran played Six Flags. Let's see here. There's something in here that I flagged. I've noticed, let's see, in a telephone interview, Simon reflects on this, how things have changed in the music, not just with the music, but the band's audience appeal. And Simon says, "We've been playing to a lot of people that we don't think would have come on the last tour. That's what's so good about this. I've noticed middle-aged couples sitting there at the concert. I'm not sure if they're coming out because they have relatives who want to see the band, or they just fancy the evening out. We've been playing to a lot more older audience that includes more fellows as well, which is nice after being labeled a teeny bopper group for 5 years. Instead of a scream when we come on stage, we're greeted by a roar." To all those male Duranis out there, Duranie dudes, we do roar. We make the noise. We bring it. Oh yeah, right alongside our sisters, right? We cannot keep silent, and we will not be silenced. This is our band, baby. Okay, so this is a great 87 article here. This is from 1989, talking about the big thing, even though it has an 87 shot right here. This is very cool. Vini Video Vici. That's Roman? I think Latin. So, I know, you're all like, okay, languages aren't his strong suit, so let's just fly past that. That's very cool. Okay, here's a nice article about John and Renee. It is in Spanish, so I cannot read it, but I think the pictures, again, speak volumes as they always do. Absolutely beautiful. And that's beautiful right there, too. And then another Israeli article on the other side. Those notorious years. One of the things that I highlighted in the articles coming up is the articles related to the band's reunion. And I highlighted some really cool quotes about how the scene was, and it paints a picture of how the band were You know, it just makes me think about where I was and when I first learned the band were getting back together. That was amazing. So, okay. Oh, and Julie says, in the banner behind it, yes, an Italian banner, that John still has a little boy smile. You're right. Totally. And, you know, whenever he smiles, it's still that just adolescent, his whole smile just lights up. Just everything lights up. Like 4th of July on his face. That was weird. Okay. So this is an 87 article. Great shot of the band. Love seeing all the Hebrew. Really beautiful. Love the script. And you probably hear the phone ringing. So this is distracting at home. That's what this is. Live. Can't control anything. Here is a Turkish article. Beautiful shots. They're a little dark, but I'm gonna show them. Really, really cool stuff. Pictures from '87. The band are all lined up here. Then more Israeli on the other side. Gorgeous, gorgeous photography came out of that whole era. Something about hats for this band. You know, whenever any of the band members wear a hat, it's always just like, it's icing on the Duran cake, right? You just want to take a big forkful of it and, that's delicious. Wear a hat. Wear something else. Oh, that's awesome. You know, maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me. I react like that. Okay. So then, this is a cool US article. This is from the pop music calendar. Duran Duran takes a stab at respectability. This is from the LA Times, and Nick they're talking with Nick. This is from December 7th, 1986. Going backwards a little bit. Sorry for the whiplash. Nick's hinted that a more mature audience would be welcome. On the last tour, the audience was too loud in some places. The screaming little girls tend to make their way to the front of the stage and make a lot of noise. We like the young fans, but it would be nice if they were a little quieter. Fat chance of that. The Duran shows I've been to doesn't get too quiet. And that is a strength. That is something to boast about. So, yeah, with time, it doesn't get any quieter. But they talks about the evolution of the band. It's really interesting stuff. It's a great shot of the band being interviewed there. You know, it was interesting going article after article. It's interesting to see how the band described their evolution over and over into various publications. And you hear something a little different every time, and they're just very aware of themselves and their ability to just kind of, I think John once described it as Duran Duran are kind of like the blob. Once you just take a chunk out, and Duran have to kind of compensate and just fill that space in. So you ever think Duran Duran like the blob? No, that might be on your radar now. Great job, Simon, from an Italian publication. And then Japan. We could not close up this book without a Japanese feature. Wait till you see these pictures. Amazing. Just amazing. Okay, this is from Viva Rock Deluxe, Volume 2. You can just see the size of it. This is from 1988. The pictures are from 88. Yeah. Oh, I want to show Simon close up. You know, I should really have you all just like caption these. It'd be interesting to see what you guys come up with. Okay. Just look at this. Just take a moment to soak this in like a sponge, right? Oh my God. It's just intense. Confidence in their self. Beautiful. There's some photo sessions that just go way beyond attractive. I wonder if they ever short-circuited camera equipment just by looking at it, right? I wouldn't put it past them. Great shot of Simon. That is a whole lot of hair on his head. Just beautiful. Beautiful in black and white, too. How you guys doing? Stephanie Long is here. She's staring right at John. How do you do this, staring right at him? Oh my gosh. It's got, like, don't you need like blinders? I mean, oh, it's so intense, right? Just blinds you, but then you get all the tingles and then everything's okay. Great shot of Nick. Look at the warmth coming off of this. Just a hint of a smile. He's looking right into the camera. It's absolutely exquisite. I love this. Japanese photographers. What would the planet be without them? Just beautiful. Look at this picture of John. I saved the best for last for all you John girls out there. Look at that. And then we have a full page shot, a promotional ad for Big Thing, performing at the Universal Amphitheater February 2nd and 3rd. Who was there, right? And that would have been an amazing show. I saw them in Seattle. I remember lining up downtown with my friend Duranie, and we just were hanging out with other fans in line, just waiting for the doors to open. It was way early in the morning to get our tickets, and it was amazing. It was just those moments in time, right? It's one of those things. I think someone mentioned, I can't remember what celebrity mentioned this, but it's when these moments in your life happen, and you know, looking back, you know they were just like so magnetic. It was just such a meaningful moment. You wish you could feel that and recognize that at the time. It's always afterwards. It's really tough. But you know, that's retrospect, right? Okay, so I don't need to have all these stickies on here, but there's a lot of these little bits on this article. This is from a Rolling Stone feature, March 23rd, 1995. It's an interview with Simon, and he's got some gems. He always has some gems, right? So I picked a few of these out. Did you ever look at Nick Rhodes and say, "Hey Nick, what's with all the makeup?" And Simon writes, "I said that on average about 3 times a week." He never really answered the question. If you'll notice, he just gradually phased it out bit by bit. Do you have a favorite Madonna incarnation? And he says, "Yes, I do. I actually liked her when she was a bit fatter. I liked that puffy fat that was on her. I found that very attractive." Something you didn't know, maybe? Very fun. And then, who'd you rather see perform, Slayer or Ace of Base? And he says, Ace of Base, because they have girls in the group. And then there's a follow-up question, "Hey, you're a married man." And Simon says, "So, no harm in seeing what's on the menu?" Okay. Oh my gosh. And what's the worst pickup line you've used? Oh, the worst was, "I saw your photograph in a portfolio, and I thought we might get on rather well. I ended up marrying her." That is so Simon Le Bon. That's fun. This is a promotional ad for the Jamboree 1995. Duran joined a huge roster for the Q101 show. Duran were there, Sheryl Crow, Collective Soul, Faith No More, a whole bunch of artists. Very cool. Those radio shows, if you got a good chance to see those, even though the band weren't the happiest from that era, that's pretty special if you caught those. Then we're moving on to the Dallas Morning News. The Reflex. Duran Duran's comeback is a natural. And so this is a great feature. Play it again, Duran Duran, talking about their reunion. Good pictures. This is very fun. And they did some kind of cool creative stuff with the band's picture up here. So that's always fun. That's from the Dallas Morning News. And then it continues on the back. And Andy Taylor had a little bit of honesty. He had a good quote here that I wanted to pick out. Let's see. Andy likens the Duran Duran phenomenon to ABBA. You always knew you liked them, but maybe are embarrassed Then you forgive yourself and put them on at a party one night, and everybody starts dancing. It's okay if enough time goes by. That's really, really cool. You know, it's been really validating and really special just to see Duran's, Duran's reputation endure over all these years, and they get taken seriously, and they garner a whole new recognition from fans and steadfast critics. I mean, time has a way of just kind of balancing everything out and giving perspective. And Duran deserve all the props that they get these days, and so that's very cool. And you're right. Enough time goes by, Duran will. They've never not been on top of the world for us, but they've definitely weathered a lot of storms. Okay, so I've finished one book, and I'm going to be back in 30 minutes. So don't go anywhere. We got more ground to cover, more distracting to do. Huge hugs. Oh, we should be in Vegas, but instead we're right here. Mwah! Vegas bling, love, baby. Oh, love you guys. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Okay, so I probably should have done a self-check and asked myself, are you ready to end the first session? And the answer would have been, no, I don't want to go. So I'm back a little early. I apologize for any disruption that I am causing people who have planned out, when they're going to catch the second hour. But I am just diving into this. Could not wait. I'm just so eager to reunite with you guys because it's a Saturday and I'm feeling bummed about Vegas, bummed for other people. So let's just dive into this, right? We are not finished. Okay, so here we go. We're going to start with 1992. We're going to just dive right into the later years. This is an article that was done on the band, a comprehensive look at their career, which is very, very cool. Has some great shots. Nothing too earth-shaking to report, so I won't redo any of it. But it's kind of fun. Has some good shots from the band's history. Ideally, what I'd love is just like a 24-hour channel, right? I remember back in maybe it was the 90s, there was a fan that started a ZTV, which was like an actual broadcast channel on TV, and she played Duran videos. They were never before seen interviews and stuff. It was really, really cool. It's like all Duran all the time, right? That'd be so fun. Okay, there's more of the article. It's just today is kind of carrying a little bit of a heavier level of distraction because of the weight of the emotion. It sucks to just not be seeing Duran live, right? But we are here live together. So it's just almost as good as seeing the band take the stage, even though not even close. And thanks again to Christine for all the backdrop. We're just changing things out. She's always thinking about something new to put in the back. And it's very cool to hear from fans who notice her efforts. So hope you enjoy it. Have some, we did have some roses. I don't think we have them here. No. I don't even know what's behind me now. Okay, so there's an article on Simon and Yaz, and talking about possible strains on their 18-year-old marriage at the time. We've rowed, but we'll work it out, which is exactly, it defines a great relationship that they have. Lenora Watkins is here. Sandra Diaz, back from Canada. Hello, Sandra. Okay. We're going to go right into October 2004. There's a whole lot of reunion stuff coming up, so that's really, really fun. So just kind of dig in with me into your memories about where you were when you got the news. Duran were back together. Huge thing. Maybe some people, critics, never thought it would happen, and suddenly, oh my God, the Taylors are together. This is from VIP. It's a UK magazine, and some really great pictures. With the original lineup back together after 20 years, Duran talked frankly about what drove them apart and what brought them back together. Really cool. Amazing photo sessions from that era. Just amazing. The first photo sessions that came out of a Hong Kong press kit. Just love this. Absolutely love this. There's no substitute for a really good Durand photo session. Oh, Teresa's noticing the Vegas poster. Yes, I remember when you were kneeling and signing it, and it was just like, oh, it was so cool. Every single signature carried an electric charge for me. It was so meaningful just to see everyone signing and kind of relating and feeling it. Okay. So on this article, kind of interspersed with this bigger feature, there's a couple things I wanted to point out. This is a feature from November 5th through the 7th in 2004. Duran back full throttle. And this little bit right here, this paints a picture. I love painting the picture of, like, you know, do you remember when you were here and when this happened? Oh my gosh. Okay, so 500 fans were lucky enough to score passes to the band's album signing at the Virgin Megastore in Times Square this month. Many more than 500 showed up to sneak a peek at the pop princes and to try to put a dent in the space-time continuum. Tickets went on sale at 9 in the morning of the appearance. They were gone just a few minutes later. A line snaked around a city block, and through the store, giddy women dressed to thrill in tight skirts and shirts, plus a few awkward men clutching fan magazines. Even television crews and photographers pushed and shoved for a sweet spot in front of a table on the store's basement floor, where the British quintet would sign copies of its reliably slick new disc, Astronaut. Oh my goodness, were you there? I don't know if you were there, but I've never actually been, been present at one of those events, so in-store signing, but I've heard so many stories and the photos. It's so amazing. Cannot imagine the adrenaline that's pumping through the veins of all the fans lined up for something like that. So that's really, really cool. And then, let's see. Oh, okay. And then there's a little quote from John. It's not the looks that's important, John replied with a smirk. It's what's inside. Oh, yes. Let's go backward. There's a little description about what the band are doing right before they come out at the Virgin Megastore in-store appearance. Tall, roguish lead singer LeBon and keyboardist Nick Rhodes. Nick was getting an extra ring of eyeliner around his fantastic peepers. Rugged drummer Roger, he's 44 at that point, and smart aleck guitarist Andy Taylor, the only members whose hair wasn't unfailingly frosted, were having a laugh, and bassist John was being told how devastatingly hot he was. As any Duran fan will gladly tell you, none of the Taylors are related. No, it's not the looks that's important, John says. It's what's inside. That is true, but that being said, he's devastatingly hot. Let's just lay it out there like a fact that Stephen Hawking could confirm, you know? I mean, really. The truths of the universe and the hotness of John Taylor. And then over the British feature with the Hong Kong photos still continues, and there's a shot, there's a quote from Simon. See, how do you, can dads still rock properly? Because he's talking about how they're all dads now. Andy Taylor says, when we get together, it's blokes. Dad disappears. We're not like this at home. We don't sit around like this. He prints to his shades and his smart suit. We probably have a certain amount of controlled schizophrenia that allows us to go from one lifestyle to the other. And that's very funny. I mean, yeah, can you imagine having a Duran Duran member for a dad? That would just be something I can't relate to. So that would be quite the experience, right? It's like, it's just dad to them. Okay. So here's a little bit over here. And there's a great quote. Duran Duran's peak may have been short-lived, but you had a really good time while it lasted. This is talking to John. What is your most decadent memory? And John remembers, I struggle to think of decadent moments, and then it dawns on me. 3 Aston Martins. Oh, they're gorgeous. But it's what boys do when they make a lot of money, for the most part. I mean, that's why boys really go to work, to buy cars so that they can cruise for girls. It's pretty simple. But what a distraction, what a nightmare those Aston Martins were. Without being zen about it, material possessions are such a drag. There was one point when I had a house in London, a house in Paris, an apartment on the 30th floor in Central Park. But if I could have just had notepaper made saying John Taylor, London, Paris, New York, that would have been it. I could have got rid of the bloody houses then. They were a nightmare. You've got to travel light if you're a musician because it's all in your head. All that other stuff brings you down. Spoken like a wise Duranie philosopher. And then, this is kind of fun. Simon reflects about Princess Diana. Andy Warhol and Princess Diana were big fans of yours. Did the princess ever make her feelings known to you? And Simon says, when I did the Pavarotti and Friends concert in 1996, I asked for her autograph, but she never signs autographs. So I said, oh, come on. And she said, oh, I don't know where I'm meant to sign. Then she said, well, I'm not signing it over the name Duran Duran. So I asked her, why not? I thought you loved us. And she said, you wouldn't believe the amount of trouble I've had since I said that. And Simon replied to her, you're not kidding. Imagine what it was like for us, and we never asked you to say it. It was very funny. It was a very sweet reflection with Simon and Princess Di. Gorgeous stuff. Gorgeous. Okay. Then we're moving on to the Sunday Herald, October 10th, 2004. Who doesn't love an interview with Nick Rhodes? Oh my gosh, I don't mean to be too biased in this Duranie distraction, but more Nick, please. Please, sir. Okay, so there's an interview with him. Sylvia Patterson interviews Nick Rhodes. Frilly shirts, silly hair, lots of girls, the odd yacht, and 70 million albums. 70 million in 2004. Oh, that's a lot. Duran Duran were the original pop idols, so why do they want to make a comeback? Surely they can't need the money. And so Nick goes on and just talks and shares his feelings, and it is accompanied by a really cool shot. Very artsy. The mundane is not Nick Rhodes' currency, ever. The mundane or the conventional. Okay, so I'm going to try to... It's not the most attractive thing when I have sticky notes all over, but I wanted to just remember a couple things I wanted to note. There's a memory that Nick has. The first time I was on stage with John, and we were called Duran Duran. Stephen Duffy was our singer. We had projections of architecture all over our faces. I had a rhythm unit, a synthesizer I made noise with, a reel-to-reel tape machine I recorded bells and traffic on, fading it in and out, 2 bass players, and a clarinet. That's art school for you. Didn't have a hit with that lineup. What a memory. And then, they had just recently been awarded a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Brit Awards. And Nick is remembering, if you stick 5 teenagers in a group together and suddenly you're in New York and you're the most happening thing in town, there were lots of pretty girls around. Sure, absolutely. And the journalist reminds Nick that Simon and John were definitely going for records at the time, Olympic groupie records. Apparently that's something that Nick said once. And Nick says, sounds like something I would have said. Well, at least we all have slightly different tastes, so fortunately it never caused us any problems. That's some insight into the group dynamics and preferences. And then the last thing I want to read from this is, let's see. Okay. Oh, they're talking about the Thank You Covers album, and Nick reflects, well, the memory about whether there was a rumor that he might have held meetings in his home in the south of France in his swimming pool. And so Nick says, well, I probably would have been sitting under a tree with a book and a hat. All that chlorine, sun and chlorine, what a glorious mixture. So that would have been a no. Sounds good, though. Tomorrow I'll be lying about that. Well, the first time we got back together was in a swimming pool in Hawaii with 14 local dancers who peeled grapes and fed us in between. It's a great dry sense of humor. Really comes through. And then, of course, there's an interview from Billboard magazine about Duranie carefully plotting their comeback. So they were all over the newsstands. I'll try not to slow things down by reading too much, but I thought I'd pluck out those little gems. Great feature, and this is pretty special because it was the journalist who put this together is Betty Page, who put together the band's very first published interview way back when. And so the band remember her, and it's kind of fun. She talks about where the band is right now, and they're like, oh, it's our Betty Page. That's very cute. Still Hungry Like the Wolf. So this is from September 2004. Oh, some great pics of fans up there. Debbie Cordera's here, Baranduin. Oh, so good to have you back, Baranduin. Okay, so this continues. There's a shot of the band at the Brit Awards, getting their star on the Walk of Fame. That would have been really cool to see that. And a shot of Nick with Andy Warhol at the Bond premiere, View to a Kill premiere with Princess Diana. Really, really fun. And then over here, we have, actually I'll show it to you after I read these. Organization, sometimes not my strong suit. Okay. This is a feature from Mean Street magazine. Question to the band. I think they're talking with Nick, right? Yes. Did it take a while to get acquainted with everyone's playing styles again? He said, it took about 10 minutes. There's something about the chemistry with 5 of us in a room that brings out some kind of bizarre magic. You can't really put your finger on why. It's almost immediate when we start writing. It just makes me think of what might have been happening when they sat down and wrote the upcoming album. It makes me just anticipate it so much, and it's so much to look forward to. And just the chemistry between these guys, right? It's one of, the big wonders of the world. Wonders of my world. Let's see. Yeah, it's just really, really, oh, this is a great shot of the band here walking on the street. Well, it's really hard to read stuff to you guys without just personally delivering hugs one by one. I just want you to know I'm going through a lot of difficulty right now, the social distancing. Okay. Spanish article. This is all about the Astronaut World Tour. It's a great shot of the band. Up here, there's Simon and Nick in Puerto Rico, visiting Puerto Rico. Really fun. And then over here, we're going back to the U.S. Well, actually, Puerto Rico is in the U.S. It's a U.S. Vicinity. So this is an entertainment section. This is right before they play the Saddle Dome on March 7th. And the opening act was I'm a Robot. Talking about Duranie, we're back together. Roshio's here. I'm sorry there's not enough Warren for you. Okay. And then more press from the band's reunion. This is from February 11th. I'm so used to reading the British, how the British write dates with the month first, or the day first. This is February 11th, 2005. They're playing a venue. Very cool. Love seeing them on the front of sections in the newspaper. Really fun. And over here, they're talking about other stars on the comeback trail, but we hate talking about Duran as if they're coming back, right? Because they've never left. We all know it's a big thing with us. The 80s strike back. Really fun, and they were on the road at the same time as Motley Crue. So they're kind of talking about both Duran and Motley Crue. I'm sure two very different experiences, very different concerts. Okay, this is a feature from, this is right before they played the GM Place, March 6, 2005. Yeah, and here we have a review of the show. This is really cool. This is really cool. It talks about the kinds of fans that showed up at the show. The group performed 22 songs, and all afternoon before the show, you could sense anticipation, curiosity, and some speculation on nostalgia for the 80s. At GM Place, there were fans who knew the songs from the introductory notes, the first few notes, right before it even gets played. I mean, how many of us know that? That's just, it's so unique and powerful to just share that. You know, we know exactly what's coming, the first couple notes. A few fans went one better by knowing the words. Occasionally, someone would scream, "We love you, John," meaning bassist John Taylor. There was a sign reading, "I flew 12 hours to hear Duran Duran." How did Duran Duran respond? With remarkable humility. That's so cool. And then on Friday, the band transcended time and all seemed new and contemporary. If it were possible to read Nick Rhodes' mind, his seriousness behind his keyboard seemed to say, "I knew that if we stuck this out, our time would come again." The grateful look of the others in the band would agree. It's fantastic. It's just, I don't know, it touched a chord in me. Anytime there's a newspaper just reflecting or highlighting how the band, they know what they have, and they know the fans are there for them, and it carries them through every tour, every hard time. You know, it just, I don't know, I key right into that. There's just an emotional potency there. And I don't know, I'm just feeling connected with you guys and just feeling all the ingredients that are going to carry us through to the next Duran Duran record. I'm getting verklempt. That's why I picked those out. I just, a little celebration of what binds us together. This is an industry ad for the release of the DVD Sing Blue Silver and Arena. Those are really, really cool. It was great to see Sing Blue Silver in a format that we could just pop in, no more VHS. This is from the Calgary Herald. So, yay, Canada! Okay, so this is from March 8th, 2005. Duran Duran as sharp as ever. Great shot of Simon. Perfect recipe for awesomeness in the newsstands. Okay. Zoltan says, he's quoting, "Flown only 12 hours to hear the band. We flew a lot more from that when we went to Zagreb to see them." That's right. You totally went the distance, you and Julie. Way to go. You earned your stripes. Okay. So this is a review of the show in Calgary. While it's not the new material that draws crowds, it sat well next to the music of the opening act. The much younger new wave punk band put on a decent synth-heavy set, keeping the crowd patient for the main event. But who's really patient for Duran Duran? I've been very fortunate that I haven't really sat through a whole lot of opening bands. It's difficult, you know. It's like, come on, main act, Duran Duran. I don't know why. I wish before a show, before every concert, they would like show the videos or like old footage, old interviews and stuff. I mean, really, as a fan, that's what I would love to see. Something that just kind of builds the suspense and you just allows fans to just indulge in their memories and all the Duran anticipation, right? But I talked about how the chauffeur was haunting, the reflex was amazing, and Save a Prayer sounded as good as it did 2 decades ago. Wow, that is, John said before Planet Earth, it's been 21 years since we were last here. This next song is for everyone who was here then. Every time they speak to the audience, it's so cool. It's like, oh my God, they're speaking. And you know, they're totally speaking to you, right? That's it. There's just specific focus, laser-like. They're speaking to you when they talk. Everett Event Center, oh, fantastic local show. That was so fun. It's a good shot. Definitely hope that happens again when the new album comes out and there's full-page ads. I got to keep my eyes peeled for that. Still Hungry Like the Wolf, another little bit of a tired headline, but it still works. During its first major tour in 2 decades, makes you realize you've still got a heartbeat. Against the odds. Not so cool. Duran are still there, still wowing people, shattering expectations. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yes, Teresa is, she's mentioning February 2019, Norway to Las Vegas via London. Yeah, kudos to you. You absolutely traveled the distance. Very cool. Okay, so here's a spotlight feature. This is from March 16th, 2005. Nothing much to look at. Freedom rings in Duran Duran reunion. And here we go. Another great shot of the band. Love that red and white room. I think I saw somewhere where a fan visited the venue where that actually was photographed. That was really cool. And here we have some of a page out of Simon and Yasmin's social calendar. Simon and Yaz attend a wedding. There's not much to look at here, so I'll just, here's a good picture of Simon and Yaz. And then Nick actually showed up. I think he was with Meredith Ostrom, I believe. Band members have always been fixtures on the social circuit in the UK. It's really fun to see them in the pages of Hello Magazine. Okay, so this is a really awesome feature. Where are they now as 80s stars on 45 reach the grand age 50? That's a weird sentence. It doesn't, yeah. Okay, so, but anyway, looking back at 80s stars, I'm not so fond of it every time they try to pigeonhole Duran as like, where are they now? And the 80s stars, because there's so much more than the 80s. But it does result in a nice feature on the band. Simon's wearing that shirt that we've seen before. A little kitten on the front of his chest. It's very cute. Interesting choice for going out on the town. And here we have Duran reuniting on the record. This is from Billboard. Always fun when they appear in Billboard magazine. Very respectable publication. And we will be wrapping up this book with an ad for the show that happened at the Music Hall, March 26th, December 8th through the 14th, 2004. This is when the ad appeared. Great, great shot. All right. So let us just dive right into a smaller book. And this one is packed with English articles, lots more quotes. We are so not done, okay? So we're just going to blast off like a rocket ship, straight out of the astronaut lyrics. I'm going to leave for space, kid. Okay. This is a issue of Rock magazine in the US. Duran Duran on tour from the mid-80s. Gonna leave for space, kid. And I'm leaving with an astronaut. Okay, so here we have really fun feature from Star Hits magazine. Will the real John Taylor please stand up? There are people out there who share the names of the Duran members as well as other celebrities, and so it's kind of a fun little look at that. There are John Taylors here. One person is an MP, someone else, let's see. I don't know. This is going to slow things down. Oh, there's a John Taylor electric. It's an ad for a furniture salesman. Anyway, it's kind of fun. When I get into this kind of stuff, I just feel like I want to redo everything, right? Anyway. Okay. Test your Duran Duran IQ. Yeah, we would ace this, I know. But it has a great black and white shot of the band. How many of those quizzes did we see in the teen magazines? Are you a Duran fan? Test your talents and show them how much you love the band and blah, blah. It's like, look, I don't need some quiz to prove my dedication to this band. Just look at my bedroom walls. Duran Duran's Union of the Snake Tour. The Fab Five are all revved up to conquer America again and again and again. You got it. Conquering, dominating, that's what Duran do. Duran Duran, are they your #1 music makers? Well, can we hear a collective duh? They can't blow it now. I love these articles that try to amp up the drama. It's like, ooh, will they make it? What's next for the band? Are they going to quit? They can't blow it now. Please, people, please. Oh, Lynette Roberts is here. Love you, Lynette. Love you, all of you. Oh my gosh, you're just still here with me. Spend romantic summer nights with Duran Duran. Oh, and this contains a quote. Oh, you are going to love this quote. This is from John. This appeared in Teen Machine magazine. I'm just going to read it and move on because there's nothing I could possibly say to follow this. So, the question is, some fans worry that you don't like 14-year-old girls. And John says, I love 14-year-old girls, especially after breakfast. Teen Machine magazine. So this is a little feature on experiences that celebrities had, things that they were embarrassed by. Think you're the social disaster of the season, of the century? Take heart as the goofs, doofs, and major klutzes of the pop world reveal their most embarrassing moments. And I wouldn't be doing my due diligence if I didn't share just one of these with you. From John. The other day, I went walking up Fifth Avenue with my fly open for 10 blocks, and you thought everyone was staring at you because you were John Taylor, right? That's from the magazine. And John said, no, I thought everyone was staring at me because I looked like Boy George. Yeah, I don't think that's a mistake I would ever make. And then actually Robert Palmer had one too. Gosh, I have to think of one that's fit to print. Having an attack of flatulence when I was about 14 at one of my first girlfriend's house when I'd been invited for tea. I can laugh it off these days, but when I was 14, it was mortifying. Okay, well, lots of honesty there. I think there's plenty of confidences in these the pages of these magazines that wouldn't be appropriate today. God bless Star Hits, right? Okay. Oh, and then here's a little quote from an article, a feature I think we've seen before from the Smash Hits, and this is from Star Hits. This interview with Simon and Nick, and the question has been posed, what did you think of each other when you first met? Simon writes about Nick, meeting Nick. I'd been told that he was a bit of a weirdo, so I was surprised by just how together he was. He did look weird, though. He had pink-glazed cotton jacket and purple trousers on, and blonde hair, very, very, very blonde hair. And he had makeup on, but it wasn't as good as it is now. And Nick writes, the moment I saw Simon, I decided that he had the right attitude. He just exuded attitude. Still does. And I thought, that's it. I just hope he can sing. He had this really great lyric book with some really great things in it, and he looked more like a potential pop star than a drama student. That's very complimentary. And, then, I don't know, Pat Boone. I don't really much listen to his music, but he's an old American popster. What did you think of Pat Boone describing your Live Aid performance as satanic? Didn't know that happened. And Simon writes, oh yes, he called us satanic because of the line, dance into the fire, didn't he? Well, I think it's great. Up yours, Pat Boone. Yeah, we're deadly satanic, and guess who we put a spell on, mate? Actually, I don't know whether there is such a thing as the devil. People blame the devil, and I think it's a big cop-out. It's just their own conscience getting at them. Okay. Simon plays a little bit of philosopher, a little cheeky wordsmith. And it continues right here. There's some more fun questions. And then over here is a little article about how weather, posing the question whether Duran Duran, Hall & Oates, and the police will call it quits. Whatever. More drama, right? More drama. Van Halen talks about this, has a great shot of Duran. I think Roger Moore is right behind Simon. It kind of looks like Simon's making fun of Roger Moore. That's what I always thought. Okay. Everything's coming up roses for Arcadia. Well, definitely. Success never smelled so sweet for Simon, Nick, and Roger. Lovely spotlight on Arcadia. Great pick of Simon and Nick. They look so Mediterranean, so dark. The celebrities talk about how they feel about ghosts. Have you ever seen a ghost? And I won't read very much of these. I don't think Andy believes in, he doesn't think he's very sensitive to all that. And Simon says, I've never actually seen a shape or human form, but I've seen things move. I believe in the persistence of memory, the gentle touching of two worlds. I'm certainly not scared of ghosts at all. That's a kind of cool way of seeing it. I'll try to remember that next time I watch a movie that has me so scared I'm curled up in a fetal position on the couch. Yeah, it's just the gentle touching of two worlds. Right. It's definitely what The Exorcist was about. Okay. Well, I guess that's possession. That's something different. Solid as a rock. Duran Duran staying on top. Great picks. And then, of course, they're joined by a little spotlight on Wham. Good company. Tatiana Cordosa Mayer is here. Hello, welcome. Going on to 87. This is from a rock poster book, so this was accompanied by a big fold-out poster. Always a good thing to find. And then we have Star Hits, the 4th annual Readers' Poll results. I won't spend too much time on it, but it's always fun to see Duran at the top of a poll. Okay, that came out a little differently than I had it in my head. A Readers' Poll. I don't need to see Duran at the top of a poll. Okay, stop talking, Andy. So, Song of the Year, Skin Trade. Yes. And then LP of the Year, Notorious. Hello. Yes, that's where they belong. Very, very fun. And let's see, Group of the Year, Duran Duran. Oh, that's fantastic. Followed by U2, The Cure, and Depeche Mode. Andy Fletcher from Depeche Mode writes, "It's the same, isn't it? Who won it this year? Duran? What? How can they keep winning? It's embarrassing. What happened to NXS?" That's fun. That's from Andy Fletcher with Depeche. Oh, that's cool. Duran, Leave 'em in the Dust. Duranies come out in force to keep their band on top. Most Promising New Act from 1988. Curiosity Killed the Cat. Blah, 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 blah. Spending the Summer on Mars, Bon Jovi, whatever. Okay, so I'm just kind of have my own little bias, don't I? Here's John, here's Simon. This is a page that asks questions of both band members. And it's kind of fun. No pictures, though. Whenever there's an article that doesn't have any pictures, I'm just like, really? Did you try as hard as you could? Okay, Best Male Singer, Simon Le Bon, #1, followed by Robert Smith, Bono, and Billy Idol. Very nice. Let's see, Best Video of the Year, 1987, Skin Trade. Oh, Duran cleaned up. Whoa. Event of the Year, Duran's Strange Behavior Tour. Yes, oh, I love it. Oh, that's so cool. Man, oh, okay. Forget to share the pictures. So, Curiosity Killed the Cat were very cool, Teresa, but it's not Duran Duran, so I'm moving on. Most Desirable Human Being, John Taylor, followed by Simon, and Nick is #5. Very cool. Best Dressed, Nick Rhodes, totally. #3 is Simon. And Hairdo from Hell, Andy Taylor is #7. Oh, sorry, Andy. It's hard out there, really, to get respect for your hair. This is moving on to the Big Thing era. This is a feature about the Big Thing, the formation of Duran. Do worry about losing Duran Duran. That one day it'll be over. And this is an interview with Nick. This is with Nick. I think it's bad to live in fear of things. If we'd been cold-hearted businessmen instead of just being musicians who wanted to write songs and play gigs, we would have carried it onto the stage when we split into Arcadia and Power Station. But instead we said we think we've reached a peak with Duran Duran at the moment, and we don't quite know where to take it. So, I mean, they just have such a great attitude, right? They just always are looking for, whether they're having fun and whether their creative juices are flowing smoothly, and if not, they know how to take a break and know how to reorient themselves. Just really mature musicians. It's a good shot of the band. Love it when they laugh. Okay, so this is from Rock Shots magazine. Duran Duran, all for one and one for all. And there's a little quote here. This is where the blob quote came. John likens Duran Duran to the blob. Nothing can really stop the band. Take a little piece out, they fill it back in, they come out with something new and unexpected. This is a fun feature from Star Hits. There's a little stuffed animal that the magazine had given various pop stars who were signing it, and then they would give it away in a giveaway to fans. And Nick is here with a dog called Barky on his head. Such a fashion plate, our Nick Rhodes. But does he think I'm man's best friend? As if the dog is talking. Not if he plans to go dancing with me balanced precariously on his hat. It's ridiculous little captions, but it's very fun. Somebody out there has that dog with Nick Rhodes' autograph. As well as, let's see, there was members of Depeche Mode, there was Howard Jones, Pet Shop Boys. That's kind of fun. So we're moving on to Liberty. Absolutely. Okay. So remember these blokes? Of course, we never forget. How can you possibly think we'll have to remember them? I get so wrapped up, right? Oh, okay. So I feel very protective, I think. I think over the years, it's like, this is our band. Don't insult them. Come on. It has the lyrics to Violence of Summer, has a really cool shot of Simon and John. John's wearing a mesh shirt. It's kind of hard to see it. So they go over their history and have some pictures. And there's a little spotlight on Liberty here. juxtaposing it with George Michael's album, Listen Without Prejudice. And they're just talking about where the band is. Oh, yes. This is so fun, you guys. So fun. Still wish we were in Vegas, but not focusing on that. Okay. This is a great 2-page feature that appeared after a 21-year hiatus. The quintessential 80s band, hate that more than the 80s, rehearses at Ritz Studios for a tour supporting the new album Astronaut. This was taken in London, September 9th, 2004. Great pic of the band rehearsing. So this is where we get right into the reunion discussions and the interviews, and then we go into Red Carpet Massacre. This is from an Australian publication right here. This is before they played the V Festival at the Melbourne Showgrounds on April 5th. It says, "Romance ain't dead." So this is talking about the Red Carpet Massacre. That was definitely a departure for the band. I remember reading something about Duran going into, Duran going into, bringing their own instruments into the studio. And Timbaland, I mean, he doesn't really deal with like live instruments. It's all like electronic, and so there was a real dissonance there. But they pulled it together, and there were some great hits on that record. Duran Duran, New Wave Dream Makers. What is wrong with me? A great shot of the band. That picture just makes me wonder who the heck could be so important for John to speak with as the photo session was happening. I don't understand it. It certainly wasn't me calling him up. Okay, this goes in. There's talking with the band and going over their history. Very, very cool. Some really fun profiles that came out. There's a lot of fans of Red Carpet Massacre and a lot of haters. It's not for everybody. But it definitely it shows the band's diversity and dynamic nature. They can try all kinds of things, and it's just to make the band grow, right? Blazing new paths, trying new things. So this is a really fun little interview, 5 minutes with Duran Duran. And there's one question here about all of the outfits that they used to wear back then, with all the ruffles. So where are all the costumes now? And John replies, "We didn't call them costumes, we called them day wear." And Nick says, "Believe it or not, we used to wear that stuff all the time. We didn't just put it on and go on stage, it was every day." And Roger says, "I still have all of them." And John says, "But now we only put them on for special nights." They could probably make a brown paper bag look good. Over here we have Performing Songwriter magazine with Alicia Keys on the front. A great big in-depth interview with Nick Rhodes, talking about his keyboards and the sound that made Duran Duran enduring global pop stars. Really, really fun, especially for all those keyboard people out there. Evan Galt and Jimmy Keys from Nightwave. This would be an article for you. Look, just studying Nick Rhodes' technique. Okay, and here's a little bit that I pulled out for all you musicians out there. The question is posed to Nick: how does being a synthesist inform the way you produce music? He says, "I think in layers and layers of sound. We've always built our tracks in the studio. Now it's so easy to put things in the computer and start building a song. At the beginning, we used to write them, and then we'd go into the studio and see how we'd wanted to structure them. We'd usually start at the bottom end with the bass and the drums and possibly a sequencer, and then build things from there in layers. I'd think about it in the same way I'd think about an orchestra. Somebody once said to me, and I'm sure it's a famous quote, that the space in music is equally important as wherever you put the notes. That stuck with me. That's kind of cool." And then over here we have a review of the show from the Seattle PI, a local paper here. And Natima Chen San Kai is a wonderful friend and great journalist. And she is a big fan of the band. She visited the archive once. It was so fun. And so she writes, speaking from the perspective of a giddy schoolgirl. Oh my God. This is Duran Duran at the WAMU Theater. Seeing Duran Duran live in concert for the first time made me and thousands of other women right around my age feel as if we were 13 again for a few hours. That's right. And then in an interview with the Seattle PI last week, Nick said he remembers Seattle for the audience's deafening screams at the band's first concert in 1984. That was the same day the band appeared on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine. Seattle still screams. That's so fun. Frontman Simon can still swing his hips and gyrate as if he just stepped out of one of the videos that made the band famous. Guitarist John, whose smile still has primo swooning power, thoroughly played up his school locker pinup charm while delivering distinctive bass lines. A team is just awesome and all her writing. That's really fun. Oh my gosh. She kept flashing back to all the videos and concert footage she's seen of the band. Duran reinvents itself while embracing the music that still draws legions of grown-ups, but still loyal fans who hang on to that inner 13-year-old. That is so us. You know, whenever you can, please refuse to grow up too fast, okay? That's fun. I love the reviews. So fun. This is from Ryanair Magazine. Moving on. I love the magazines that appear on flights, in-flight magazines. Those are really, really hard to get. This is a little interview with Nick about his travels over the years. It's a good pic of him. And an ad for Red Carpet Massacre, and the new single Falling Down. And then there's a little thing that appeared in Playboy, so it's not what you think. But just focus on the ad for RCM. Okay. So this was a project where there was a t-shirt design. There were different artists, different musicians got to design t-shirts using the Playboy logo. So Duran did one with the Red Carpet Massacre theme, and then you'll see the photos. There's Nick posing with two Playboy bunnies. Such is the life, right? You know he's posing with them just for their minds. You know, it's all about their intelligence. He had a brilliant conversation with them, I'm sure. Has nothing to do with their attire. Okay, Rock the Rabbit. This is these are the artists that design different shirts. There's Iggy Pop, Daft Punk, and then we got the band right here. Oh, beautiful shot. Look at that. I remember when they appeared in, I should be careful how I phrase this. Duran did an interview in Playgirl magazine, and it was a great in-depth interview. And I remember being very self-conscious as I brought that up to the front desk at the, I think it was Borders bookstores. And I'm like, oh, you know, I'm getting this for the interview. And he's like, oh, whatever. I mean, you know, I was young. Maybe not that young, but okay. Moving on. Bass Player magazine. Has John on the front. John should always be on the front of a Bass Player magazine. Musicians Mag. Great pics. Cecilia remembers Zoltan. Let's see. She saw them on her 19th and 25th birthday. So much fun. Oh, that's very cool. Yeah. She's writing to Zoltan. I don't sometimes understand the comments, so I should just pay attention to what I'm doing. Okay. Bass player. Oh, Kristen Burns did the photographs. Bend, Don't Break. That's really fun. talks about his technique. There's a great shot of him with a bass. The picture should be bigger, but no one asked me. I never got any memos about this. There's a small little pic of John here. John talks about, here's an excerpt from him talking with guitar player on building bass lines, his fretless bass, slapping and popping, all the techniques. That's really, really cool. So all you bass players out there, this is definitely a magazine to try to track down if you're interested in John's technique. Okay, having a beer with Duran Duran. This is from an Australian magazine talking about Red Carpet Massacre. And the final quote in this article is definitely one to share with you. Nick talks about, just listen to this. The question is, one last question. What are your thoughts on the keytar, the keyboard guitar? And Nick writes, oh goodness, well, it is a terrible name. Sad is the word I'd use. Yeah, I've never quite understood how you can play that easily, although Howard Jones has pulled it off beautifully. But I'm grateful Nick is just kind of reigning over his mounts of keyboards and all his station right on the stage. No guitars in sight. Sky magazine. I believe this is another airlines-oriented magazine where there's an interview with the band, and it's talking about VH1 devoting an evening to the band just in time for Christmas. And there's a question to Simon, Roger, and Nick. They answer, so are you against reality shows? Just imagine a reality show with the band. I am so grateful they've never taken that road. Simon says, despite lots of people believing the way to make music is to go on the X Factor, it really isn't. Good artists write and perform music that speaks to people and makes them feel they're not alone. Then Roger says, but then if a show like that gets a kid out of a grocery store, and Nick says, I'd rather he stayed in the grocery store than get manipulated. And then Simon reflects on his most rock and roll moment. That was actually probably the quote I was going for. Simon reflects, probably the time we got thrown out of the Hyatt Hotel in LA when we were on our first tour of the US. We were hanging out at the swimming pool on the roof when Andy noticed a cleaning bucket, filled it with water from the pool, and poured it down to the street. 17 floors below onto this open-air restaurant. The LAPD turned up in full armor with riot sticks and gave us an hour to leave. That's so fun and frightening. But if you're going to get arrested, might as well go big or go home, right? The young, crazy antics of a young Duran Duran. Complex magazine had an interview with Simon. Great shot of him. In black and white. Duran always looked good in black and white. You guys hanging with me? I'm trying to make this ultra-powered, extra-fueled session right here. We're finishing this book. Las Vegas magazine. Oh, another little nod to Las Vegas. Oh my gosh. Okay, it's a great spotlight on the band. And wonderful beach shot. We've all seen this before. Vegas. This is from Beats magazine. This is a entertainment entertainment guide from November 2007. The 80s. It was so rad. Duran's on the front, and they go over all the little trappings of the 80s. The Rubik's Cube, Pac-Man, leg warmers. Some really fun fashion choices back then. Mullets. Death of Andy Warhol, that was very sad. 21 Jump Street. But then they have an appropriately massive spotlight on the band. Duran Duran, Do It Again. Fantastic. Okay. Here's a review of Red Carpet Massacre, which is not so kind, but the picture's great. And then Details Magazine has a really, really amazing in-depth interview with the band. So we'll get into that. Opens up with a shot like this as they get out of a car. Never, Wild Boys never lose it. Never lose it. They always look so good in suits. I would never look so good in a suit, although I haven't worn suits that much. Far prefer something like this, right? Yeah, this is very businesslike. Okay, great collage of old shots. I'll linger a little bit on this so you can get a good gander at these beautiful old vintage shots. Great stuff over the years. They've had so many amazing milestone moments. And we're ready for the new ones. Okay. So there's a lot to read here. I'm not going to read it a whole lot, but there's a lot of writing, not enough photos. But I will, I'll just read this little bit right here. Duran still have an army of fans waiting for them to return triumphant. Hence, the group's official website provides a useful guide for Duranis on how best to get radio stations re-enthused over their beloved group. Re-enthused? Really? If a DJ says something negative, let it pass, the manual advises. We know you're proud to be a Duranie, but this doesn't matter to the DJ. Your request is more likely to be taken seriously if they think you are just a general member of the public who has been bowled over by the band. Well, you could either do that. I prefer sending tons of food and love letters and heartfelt pleas to get the band's music played. Let your inner Duranie out. Let it, just sing it from the rooftops. So I do not go by that manual, but that's just me. I've never known how to rein it in. Okay. Still hungry. 2 decades later, 80s icons keep the beat. Talking about working with Timbaland and Justin Timberlake. John's still on the phone. And then, of course, we have a great feature in Blender magazine. This is an amazing, amazing spotlight on the band. Lots of stuff that I wish I could read. I will not. It starts out with a great shot of Simon in a hotel room. Yeah. After a full day at the spa, you come back up to that sitting on your bed? Okay. Oh my gosh, the things I can't take back. Okay, so this is an interesting little quote from Simon. If you had the chance to rewrite Is There Something I Should Know, would you change the lyric, You're About As Easy as a Nuclear War? And Simon writes, no way, it's the best part of the song. Just because people don't get it doesn't mean that you're wrong for writing it in the first place. It's a song about a relationship, and a very screwed up, dysfunctional relationship at that. You say you're easy on me? Hey, you're about as easy as a nuclear war. I was thinking of the most devastating, catastrophic, frightening event one could possibly imagine. And I think I got it right. Yeah, it totally works. And it is impossible to hear that without, you're about as easy as a nuclear war, right? We're all doing that. Love that. And then there's one other question. Duran Duran was infamous for their excesses. Tell us one time you lived up to your reputation. And so this was, I remember the party we had after our first album was launched. We played a show at the Rum Runner. Somebody had invited down a whole agency of glamour models. Suddenly these 20 girls come in. They're not wearing very much anyway, and they start just taking it off. There's champagne flowing, there's caviar, there's whatever you want. So that paints a picture. And then, yeah, there's others talking about his love for Michael Hutchence. Really, really beautiful. Beautiful quotes and reminiscing. Okay. And then American Way, I believe this is another American Airlines magazine, December 1st, 2007. Really cool caricature of the band. I appreciated that a lot. Hey, hey, we're Duran Duran. Kind of like the Monkees. Band aren't like the Monkees. The hey, hey is like the Monkees. Okay, just to clarify. Okay, so a great feature on the band from the RCM years. And here's two things. What would your fans be surprised to learn about you? Simon writes, I like salty popcorn when I go to the movies. Didn't know that. And Nick says, when my high school chemistry teacher, who used to go and put bets on horses for us, left the classroom, it was not a good room to be in because people lit up paper darts on Bunsen burners and threw them around the room. I'm amazed that the school never burned down, and I used to get left in charge. Didn't know that. Nick Rhodes in charge of a room of chaos. That must have been really difficult for him. That's a reason they call him the controller, right? Okay. Here's an events calendar for Borders Books, and Andy Taylor was going to make an appearance in promoting his book. And then Marie Claire, the magazine, had a great feature from November 2007, all about the band. Really fun. Love it when they appear in big spreads in fashion magazines. Oh, really fun. And then a set list. I don't have many of those. There's a lot of really determined people out there who have way more than that. A whole bunch of set lists. And the tenacity to get them. It's really hard to do. Austin Music Hall, December 11th. So Tuesday. It was kind of fun. Major kudos and respect to everyone out there who has multiple set lists. That is a good thing to have. Hard thing to get. And so there's a big feature here, so much that I just don't have time to read, but it's from Tatler magazine, talking about, there's pictures from the Falling Down video. They interview each other. Nick speaks to Simon, and John speaks to someone. Nick speaks to John. Nick speaks to Roger. Nick does a lot of speaking. Okay, so anyway, it's a really cool feature. They kind of they interview each other. That's always fun. And there's just a couple things that I marked here. Nick questions Roger. Finally, Roger, you're in a room alone and a beautiful naked girl wanders in. Your mobile phone rings and it's your wife. What do you do? And Roger says, well, the wife's probably going to be reading this, so I'd answer the phone and say, I'm in the middle of something. He laughs. I'll call you back later. Very diplomatic way of responding. And then Nick speaks to John. If your family took part in a reality TV show, what do you think viewers would make of them? And John writes, or says, I assume they just think what a horrible group of people we are. I mean, I often think that. When people are exposed to that degree, very rarely do they come up looking good. The kind of dramas that go on between husbands and wives and parents and children, if they were seen by the outside world, I mean, if anyone saw my wife Gila and me shopping on a Saturday, they'd say, oh God, they're so disgusting. Okay, that's not, I think, what I would say, but. That's really fun. Oh, good shot of Roger on the drums. And then we'll end with a review of a Minneapolis concert review from April 25th, 2011. Not much to see, but you know, it's a very positive review. So, you know, on that note, as we kind of lament the loss of Vegas for us right now, the thought of being at a concert, you know, it's going to happen again for us, and it's going to be something to still get excited about, still to look forward to. I hope this helped a little bit, comforting in this crazy time. It's really hard. You know, Vegas was supposed to be happening, but, you know, we're here together, and I just love you guys. You know, we're going to get through this, and Duranie are going to be back, and it's going to be so much celebration. It's going to be so emotional. It's going to be just amazing. Thank you so much for hanging with me. Oh my God, you guys have such endurance. You guys are amazing. I appreciate you to no end, and thank you so much for joining me. Please be good to yourselves. Have a great weekend. You are amazing warriors, and you can get through this. Be good to yourselves. You are worth it. You are important, and you're totally with me. So much love going out to you. Do something to pamper yourself today. Do something special, guilty pleasure, or just give yourself a hug, which I'm not going to leave without. To all of you. Love you guys so much. Be good to yourselves. Till next time, next Wednesday, right? Okay, you take care. Thinking of you.